Hi there, my name is Robb Hillman. I'm a registered nurse and certified life coach, and I think today is a good day for a good day. On this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about shame. This is one of those things, it's an election year. I've been seeing a lot of shame get thrown around on social media, and I thought it was worthwhile to talk about it a little bit for a couple of reasons. Shame, I think, is one of those feelings that I think most of us, if we would, wanted to rate like our top 5 worst feelings or feelings that were the most uncomfortable, shame would probably be right up there at the top. Maybe along with like terror or humiliation or something. I think most of us would probably say it doesn't feel very good to feel shame. What is interesting, though, is that many of us will turn right around and use shame as a weapon against people we disagree with. Rather than, engaging them and having a conversation about why we disagree with them, a lot of people will resort right to shame and try and shame them for the way that they think or feel or act or whatever, rather than engaging them on any, issue of substance. Okay, so I've got a couple examples I want to talk about of how we, shame people, sometimes under the guise of humor, like where we try and be funny about how we shame people. But really, again, it's just we're using it as a weapon to try and tear them down in order to build ourselves up. Okay? So one of my examples, it's a joke. I'm sure you guys have heard this joke before. I just saw it as a meme on Facebook. It was a sign at a beach, and clearly it had been photoshopped, but the sign said, "Dear beachgoers, please dress for the body that you have, not the body that you want." Okay? We can argue about whether that's funny or not. I think most of us have heard that before. But let's look at what the joke really is, right? Because the joke is all about body shaming people, right? It's about saying, well, I'm in this society and our society has decided that, these kind of body types are attractive and these kind of body types are unattractive. And as a member of society, it is your job to make sure you were always attractive to me. And if you are not attractive to me, then it's your fault and I'm going to shame you for it. Okay, that's sort of the message of the joke. And yes, you can make the argument that I'm making too big a deal about it. It's just a dumb little joke and, don't have to think about it that hard. We can just laugh about it and move on. But that really is the message that we're sending. And so what I want to encourage you to do, again, it's not for me to tell you, this is right and this is wrong, or you should live like this or not live like this. You can always, of course, have the choice. You get to decide how you want to live and what you think is important. What I want you to do as a coach is just to make sure you are making that choice a conscious one. That we're not just, oh, I found this mildly funny and I'm not really thinking about it, but I'm going to share it before we realize, what it is really that we're saying. Because, this is a body shaming joke. I think there's a lot of them out there. But, where do you draw the line? Where do you stop with sexist jokes or racist jokes? Saying, well, it's funny, so therefore, it's off limits, as opposed to, well, this is the message that I want to, send out into the world. Right? We have roasts of people where sort of the point is to make the most crude and horrible jokes possible. And, there's a time and a place for that. But do we really want to do that in every day? Is it worth it for us to have a little chuckle in making fun of somebody else? Okay? I just want you to make that choice of where you want to draw that line for you and make it a deliberate choice. Okay? Another example, and this is pretty topical, just happened. And I want to be really clear here. This is not a political post. I am not making any statements about, I think this is a good candidate or a bad candidate or anything like that. It's just something that happened. And there's some group that put up some naked statues of Donald Trump in some parks around the country. Okay? And I didn't read any of the articles, so I don't really know the backstory. But to me, just, on the surface, it looks like they're trying to body shame him, right? Rather than addressing, well, this is things he's said that I don't like, or these are things that he's done that I don't like. We're just going to make fun of the way he looks, right? You see this on the other side, too, where people make fun of what Hillary wears, or if it's, what her haircut looks like. I think all of that is pretty irrelevant, right? It's a pretty weak argument to try and make, rather than saying, well, this is something that happened, and so I'm going to talk about that. I'm just going to, make a bad joke about what they look like. Again, I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing or a right thing or a wrong thing. You get to decide what you think is appropriate for you and who the person that you want to be is. I just want to make sure that as a coach, of course, that you are making that decision consciously. That you're going to decide, okay, this is where I draw the line, and anything on this side of the line is fair game. I'm going to make fun of those people, and anything on this side of the line is too far, and I'm not going to do that. Is it worth it to you to make those kind of jokes? Is it worth it to you to, use shame as a weapon? Do you think it actually helps you get what you want? Or are we just, trying to tear people down to make ourselves feel better? Okay, as a person, my choice is I want to try and lift people up. I think humor is awesome, right? I think humor is always the right answer. I'm always, doing dumb jokes on my pages and stuff like that. And, sometimes I take my own advice and sometimes I probably miss stuff because I just think it's funny and share it without thinking about it. But I do try and be aware of what I'm doing and what the jokes are that I'm sharing. Whether I'm successful or not is, you can tell me, but I do try to, share things that are going to lift people up more than it's going to, tear people down at other people's expense so that I can have a joke and have a laugh or feel good about myself or whatever. Okay, so that's really what I want to talk to you guys about. Who is the person that you want to be? And how can you make the decisions in your life of what you share, of what you do to make that person be the best person possible? Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. I hope this makes sense. Feel free to shoot me an email, or if you agree or disagree or anything like that, I'd love to hear from you. And I will talk to you next time. Have a good one.